Okay.
At 11 o'clock, you have some strawberries. And on your right-hand side, you have a spoon and a knife. On your left-hand side, you have a fork.
Okay.
Okay. If you need anything, you just call me on the call button, and I'll be right with you.
Okay.
All right. You enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. See what a difference taking that added time to explain and give detail to Mrs. Smith made in her meal. That certainly was a lot less time than it's going to take to get her a new meal tray and clean her up afterwards. So those are very, very important things for you to remember and to take the time to do every time. The next area of special needs we'll look at is called aphasia. People who have had a stroke commonly have aphasia. This means either they don't understand what's being said to them, or they have trouble expressing to us what they need to say to us. So there's some techniques that can help in working with a person with aphasia. Again, it's important. Get their eye contact. Be right in front of them so that they know that you're going to do a communication. Say the person's name. It's a comfort. We've been called by our name our whole life, so it's a comfort to hear our name. So say that person's name. Use short sentences. Their brains aren't processing the information like you and I can, so keep it very, very simple. Allow them time to understand what you've said, and then allow them additional time to respond back in whatever manner they're capable of doing. Again, nonverbal cues can help. Would you like something to eat? Are you tired? So combine your nonverbal with your verbal, very simple. That'll help tremendously. Sometimes they may have seen a therapist and they may have a communication board. Again, it's something visual to help with that verbal. Communication boards can show letters that they can spell things out. It can show pictures of people who they might want to see. It can show some desires. I want tea, I want bread. So there's different communication boards that are available. Aphasia, the person with aphasia is another reason that we need to become experts not only in using our body to communicate to our residents, but also that we get to learn to read their body language. So if they get real antsy at a certain time, maybe they need to go to the bathroom. Or maybe they've been sitting up too long and they need to rest. So it's important for us to learn to read nonverbal language, particularly with this type of population. Sometimes you get very frustrated and the resident gets very frustrated. And sometimes what you have to do is tell them, we're both frustrated. You can't figure out what they want. I'm going to give you a break and I'll come back later and maybe we can figure it out. So it gets to be a real detective job with them, between you and the resident sometime. The three most common needs that I've found in my experience with health care is that the person may be in pain, so it's a good question to ask. They may be hungry, or they have to go to the bathroom. Oftentimes when we see a restlessness, those are the first three things we key into, and you might have success if you start with those three first. Now we're going to take a look at Andrew and Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith has aphasia, and the only word she can express is duty. It doesn't mean anything, but it's the only thing she can say. Andrew is making an assumption in this first scene. He thinks she's anxious, and so of course what she needs when you're anxious is reassurance. And so he's going to do his best to make sure she's reassured. Let's see what that looks like. Duty, duty. Duty, duty, duty.
What's the matter, Mrs.
Duty,
Smith?
duty.
Mrs. Smith,
duty.
you need to calm down.
Duty, duty,
Everything
duty,
is
duty.
okay. You had your medication,
Duty,
you had your
duty,
breakfast, and you've been
duty.
toileted twice. Please,
Duty,
Mrs. Smith, calm
duty.
down. I'll check on you in about an hour, okay?
Duty, duty, duty. Duty, duty, duty. Well, Mrs. Smith was not reassured. Andrew feels pretty good because he thinks he did everything that he should have done, but we can see Mrs. Smith is not comforted. Now Andrew's going to go back and do a little bit more methodical, simple questions and see if he can find out what she needs by reading her body language. So let's see how that looks. Duty, 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 Duty,
What's the matter,
duty.
Mrs. Smith?
Duty, duty, duty.
Mrs. Smith, what's
duty.
wrong?
Duty, duty, duty.
Mrs. Smith, are you in pain?
Duty, duty, duty.
You're not in pain.
Duty, duty, duty.
Are you still hungry?
Duty, duty.
No, you don't want anything to
Duty,
eat?
duty, duty.
Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Duty.
You need to go to the bathroom.
Duty,
Okay,
duty,
can I help
duty.
you?
Duty,
Okay,
duty.
let's stand up and
Duty.
I'll help you to the restroom,
Duty,
okay?
duty. Now we can see from that they're both doing the right thing. Mrs. Smith is going to get what she wants, and Andrew has really, indeed, helped her this time. The last special need we're going to look at is cultural differences. And I have a personal example to share from that. We had a lady in a place that I worked once who lived in China her entire life. And she came to the United States when she was in her 70s. Didn't know a word of English. We're trying to get this poor lady to eat. And we give her special foods and think if we go to special Chinese foods and if we serve it hot or if we give her finger foods. And we are trying our best to trying to get her to eat. And she just will not eat. Then one of the health caregivers said, has anyone ever tried giving her chopsticks? So we put chopsticks on the plate, and you wouldn't believe how she cleaned that tray. I swear she could eat soup with chopsticks. Just put it right in. She needed a utensil that she recognized to eat the food. So remember that when you're dealing with people from different cultures. The other area where culture might make a difference is with the language. And you may be able to get an interpreter to help you, or you may end up learning from the family some simple phrases that you can use to communicate. So you may be finding yourselves becoming multicultural in your language also. So remember to be open and flexible in dealing with cultural differences. Now the last area we're going to address is barriers to communication. We're going to look at a few vignettes in this area. One thing you need to be concerned about is if the resident is anxious or worried about something. That's going to interfere with their ability to participate in their health care, and we need to be sensitive to that. We're going to take a look at Andrew and Mrs. Smith again, and he needs to get her to therapy. And let's see how it goes when he's not sensitive to her concerns.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
It's time for your therapy session.
I can't go now. My daughter's just been in an accident.
Mrs. Smith, I understand your concern regarding your daughter.
I'm very
but
worried.
You really need to go to therapy now.
I'm very worried. They just took her to the emergency room.
Mrs. Smith, if you continue to refuse care, Medicare is not going to pay for your session.
Well, I'm not refusing, but she's in the emergency room.
Are you going to go to therapy?
Well, not now.
Well, then you're refusing care.
Now, Andrew was very concerned about getting his schedule in place, but he really wasn't flexible with her. So now what he needs to do is key into what her issues are and see how he can arrange the day so she gets her therapy and her concern about her daughter's taken care of. So let's look how that is better handled in this next scene. Yes?
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Are you ready for your therapy session?
Oh, I can't go now. My daughter was just in an accident.
Oh, really?
A car accident.
What happened?
She was in a car accident, and I don't know. They just took her to the emergency room.
And you're waiting for her to call?
Yes, I need to be here when she calls.
Well, how about we reschedule your therapy session for later this afternoon?
That would be better.
Okay.
You can check with me.
Okay, about 2 o'clock. I'll come back and check with you.
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that would work out better.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry to hear about your daughter.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that'll be good. I'm so worried. In that scenario, they both got what they needed. Mrs. Smith is going to find out about her daughter, and she can still get her therapy, so Andrew doesn't need to worry that that's going to be missed. Another common barrier is if we talk too much. It's important for us to remember that our resident is most important at all times, and we can have opinions and we can share our day, but that's not what we go to work for. We're going to work for that resident to share with us their day and their needs. So be careful you don't talk too much, and I think Andrew can give us a good example of that. So let's take a look.
Good morning, Mrs. Smith.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Well, not so good. I didn't sleep very good last night.
I didn't get any sleep last night. Oh, I got so much on my mind.
Oh,
It's kept me up all night.
I think it might be my hip hurts a little
my
bit.
back hurts me. You know, I really need to call my doctor and get it checked out.
I'm not sure if I laid on it
so
wrong
much to do. I
or
got to call the doctor.
pulled it,
They need help on the second floor.
but it
I really
still
need to
hurts.
get back to work. Well, I hope you feel better. I feel a little better talking
Well,
about it. I'll see you later.
Still sore. Well, we certainly know a lot about Andrew, but I don't think we're quite sure what Mrs. Smith's greatest concern is. So let's look at that again. This time Andrew is going to hold off his personal opinions and experiences and key into Mrs. Smith. So let's